Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Perspective. I'm your host, Omar Khalid. But we will be talking in this 1 hour on PTV World about the political situation in the country, how it is developing. We know the latest developments. We know that the oath taking of the new Prime Minister will be on the 18th of this month. Also on the 13th of this month at 10 a.m. The National Assembly session has been requisitioned. And also we have confirmation from the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Assembly that their session has also been requisitioned for the 13th. So has the Punjab Assembly session requisitioned for the 13th. So of course we'll know in more detail about the Speaker, because the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker will also be elected from the National Assembly that day. Apart from that, there is also the government formation. What is going to happen in the coming days? Of course, on the 18th, we'll know how many members stand by any name, whether it be Mr. Imran Khan from the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf or the joint candidate that will be fielded by the opposition. Only time will tell, but the odds are in favor of Mr. Imran Khan. The 100-day plan that the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf also talks about, how are they going to implement it in the days to come, because this is a very ambitious plan and there are a lot of hurdles, there are a lot of issues that need to be dealt with in this new government in the days to come. So how will all of that be handled? Will the opposition also stay united post the new government formation? Will their loyalties change as it has happened in the past, or will they stand united, as Mr. Shehbaz Sharif has said recently when he addressed the media, in which he also told people about why he could not be there when the joint opposition had protested here in Islamabad. To talk about all of that and more, we've been joined by three important guests. Let us go to them, and first of all, I'll introduce them to you. On my very right is Ma'am Asma Qadi. You're an MNA from the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Asma Qadi Sahaba, thank you very much to have joined us.
Thank you.
Next to her is Mr. Liaqat Shahwani Sahab. You're an analyst and a frequent guest on our shows. Thank you very much to be back. And last but not the least, Mr. Javed Rana, another very regular name on our shows. You're a known journalist and a known analyst as well. Let's start with you, Asma Qadi Sahaba. The odds are in favor of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf as per what we're hearing, as per what we're seeing, as per the numbers that are talking as well of the members in the National Assembly. The Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf also says that they are going to make governments in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Of course, that's very evident, in Punjab as well, and in Balochistan in coalition. How do you foresee Pakistan post the 18th of August?
I see absolutely, after we know the history of our country, 70 years, okay? The loot and plunder and corruption, and we were fighting, people were fighting to have a new system, right? So I see absolutely new system coming in front of us. Our direction will be set right. Imran Khan is a very honest, dedicated person. What he says, he does. He walks the talk.
Right.
And the other thing that we are very much determined, we are very much passionate, and we have decided, we promised before our leader that whatsoever he has seen, the dream for Pakistan, and we're going to make it happen, right? So we are very much sure that the day Sir Imran will take oath, inshallah, there will be absolutely a new chapter will open for Pakistan after 1940, after the independence that Quaid-e-Azam gave us. Right? We're going to have now a better Pakistan, a new Pakistan, which Quaid-e-Azam actually handed over to us.
And what he had envisioned, in fact, in 1947, and even before that, a new chapter, says Asma Qadi Sahaba. How optimistic are you for the new chapter of Pakistan's history?
Well, let's hope for better. Imran Khan is not leader of choice, but a leader of chance. People have given him chance. There was a general perception, if you would ask the people who are going to vote this election, and people would always say that we have tried a number of leaders, previous leaders, but let's give them a chance. And people have given Imran Khan a chance. Let's see how would Imran Khan implement his vision. Himself, he doesn't have any burden of financial corruption. People trust him. This is the main and major thing, and particular in this era of severe economical crisis Pakistan we are passing through. Imran Khan kind of leader is I think a great luck for the nation, but it does not have an experienced team, which is a very weak point of Imran Khan. A person cannot implement his idea. He should have a number of good experienced team. He doesn't have. Look. He is.
But there are a lot of electables. I mean, you talk of experienced team, but there are a lot of electables, a lot of people who've had previous experience.
Well, those electables have always been proven to be a disaster. They have experience in corruption. They have experience in commissions. They have experience in kickbacks. The electables are not only individuals, but they are complete systems. They have got their own PS. They have got their own circle people, and unfortunately, there's a vicious circle.
All right.
They have always been experiencing plunders, and this would be very unfortunate if these electables would try to over-dominate the cabinet, even PTI itself, because PTI, all political parties are national assets. If someone comes and try to, dominate the party, if someone try to underestimate the political workers, the genuine visionary politician, if they are sidelined and these people come on the front screen, so that would be also discouraging. So let's how Imran Khan, not as a prime minister, but not only his cabinet, but his party, all the things, these are challenges, and these all are the challenges which Imran Khan himself has accepted. He said, I have the capacity to deliver, I have the team, I have the will, I have everything. Now, let's see, but we should be hopeful in this entire slot. Even in National Assembly, I think the Imran Khan is the only leader which does not have the corrupt burden, which is the plus point. He enjoys not any other leader in Pakistan.
All right. That is a plus point. But speaking of electables, the vicious circles, the visionary politicians in PTI versus the electables, or as Mr. Shawaris talks about, the electables over dominating the cabinet that will be formed. How do you see the pressures that will be on the government that is going to be formed in the next couple of days?
Obviously, these are political parties. Pressures have always been there. Different lobbying has always been at work. And we have seen some of work of those lobbies in KPK. And there is some sort of controversy that probably Imran Khan did not have that kind of very free choice. Otherwise, he might have appointed
what about Mahmood Khan's appointment?
Ataf Khan as chief minister. But nonetheless, I think I have conducted several interviews with Imran Khan. Last of which was on 14 July.
All right.
And I've noticed that the man basically has grown more pragmatic as compared to 5 years back, 6 years back. And
when you talk about pragmatism, what do you mean exactly?
Let me explain. I asked him why you have accommodated these electables. They are tainted with the corruption. And he said, it's not a presidential system. It's not a Europe. So we have to see the ground reality. And then he said that it's not, there was no option, that kind of impression that he gave. And I think he has struck between idealism and pragmatism. We should expect from him, and I hope he is a very simple person, and he would not cross the red line in pragmatism, and he would not go too much long way on his idealism. And I think during last couple of years, he has learned a lot from his protest against the government over-rigging in 2014. Then his party has governed in KPK, and they have again come back with a thumping majority. So, and then the bigger challenge for Imran Khan and his party is economic crisis. $40 billion US loan. It's a huge, which is a 40% of the entire debt of Pakistan, which previous government borrowed. And then they had a lot of good economic figures. it was import-grown growth of economy, a sort of bubble. Now, just imagine.
The water crisis is
It is a big. And the Americans are upset. They have publicly said that we are against any bailout package to Pakistan. And by the way, it is not in the interest of Pakistan to go to the IMF. But again, there are very limited options, and I hope the new government would come up with a middle ground. And there is a possibility that Pakistan might go for borrowing from its Jeddah-based Islamic Bank. And then I think Asad Umar, in a press conference just a few days back, said that probably they are going to float bonds to attract overseas Pakistanis. So there is possibility, because if they go to the IMF, that would be politically disaster, and it will be economically disaster, because they would not be able to provide any relief to the common people. I think we should attach our hopes to the new government. Hopefully they would deliver. The man at the top is a very simple in his personal life, and I think those effects are going to be trickled down onto the common man, if not sooner, maybe later.
All right. Asma Qadir Sahiba, options and challenges that are in front of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf if it forms the government, which seems very sure in the days to come. How do you feel that a person like Mr. Imran Khan, as Javed Rana Sahib says, he's very simple in his approach, going to tackle all of that in a manner that is going to be beneficial in the short and long term for the country?
Okay, the best example to understand that of your question is that how did he manage to lift 92 World Cup? How did he do that? He didn't have a great team. I know that because I used to watch day and night of that matches, and I've been analyzing and studying the team he had. Were not that skilled the way the World Cup players do mostly have. So if he can do that, and then he jumped in, or rather got into the politics, and he was very new, right? What did he do? He came up with the world's best hospital, cancer hospital, where there's no such hospital in the world having free. Rather, I've seen European people are now thinking of opening a cancer-free hospital for the people. So what about his college? So a person with so much of nothing in his hands, nothing is no money, nothing, but builds up such a big, huge hospital, and where such expensive medicines are provided, and giving great services in the world from people from outside the country. They come and get their cancer treated. So if he can do that, why cannot here in the country, where the things will be in his hand, every power will be in his hand, will be allowed to exercise it. So I think the way, even I want to come back to this Bacha point that he didn't have an experience. What about Nawaz Sharif, when Ziaul Haq threw him in the arena of politics? Did he have any experience? And straight was made Prime Minister of Pakistan. What did he do? I believe that if you have a passion, if you love your country, if you're patriotic, if you love your people, if you desire to bring change, yes, sir, you will bring change if you're very sincere, if your directions are right. So I don't believe in such that people do not have experience. I was a teacher, I didn't have any experience, but I made a history in wherever I went, I was the best teacher considered, and though I didn't have experience. What led me through that? It was my passion for teaching, or love for teaching, and it was the honesty and sincerity with my responsibility, with my job. So that's what I've seen in Sir Imran. There is nothing like Sir Imran, the quality that guy has. No one I've seen you can match it with any president or with the best presidents in the world. He stands high.
Or passion, honesty and sincerity. This is what Asma Qadir Sahiba talks about as far as the nature of Imran Khan Sahib is concerned. Is that enough to steer the country from all of these crises and towards a better Pakistan?
Well, Imran Khan is a hard worker person. He is a person which believes in dreams, and he has fulfilled his dream. He has a passion. Himself, he has been as a parliamentarian, as MNA, he did not participate in number of sessions. If he would go there, he could have learned a lot of parliamentary practice. Which
because he wasn't there in all the sessions that were held. Most of the sessions he was not present.
He was missing, and that was a great opportunity for learning. He has come as a leader of agitation, and he has the experience of agitation. He can build a team, he can build organization. PTI is a good organization. He has a charisma to attract the people. But at same time, he is a visionary leader. As I said, he doesn't, the main thing is the burden of past, of monetary corruption. He is the lucky person. Nobody can point him as a corrupt person, but at the same time, winning a cricket match, he did not have any impediments from his own team. He did not have electables. He was not forced to cajole the coalition partners. He was not, he did not have hoped to go to that MPM which previously he was criticizing. So in practical politics, there are a lot of difficulties, but at the same time, I would agree with Ma'am Asma that we should provide opportunity to the new people. If all the time we are just chasing the experienced one, how would we then claim that we should be giving opportunity to new people? But the time, this is the time of crisis, and it doesn't have experienced people which we know better. Let's see how would he tackle the issues. And at the same time, the opposition is enjoying the experienced people. A number of experienced people in opposition. There is a very difficult opposition because Imran Khan himself is not enjoying simple majority, and there is a hung parliament.
Exactly.
So let's see how he would tackle that parliament. How would he lead his party? Even in 2002, Zafrullah Jamali, when he came, he took his oath as Prime Minister. He just had 172, very, very narrow majority, and we know he couldn't survive. And then Chaudhry Shujat came.
He couldn't survive, and then
Shaukat Aziz came. Well, basically because one of the reasons was he was not enjoying, simple majority.
A two-thirds majority is always good to have.
He lost his support from the army, and I think
he
himself said it that those who brought me in power, they were not happy, so I had to resign.
All right, let's talk about power. Power is, they say, important. Power is also what steers a parliament. Power is also what steers a country forward. Talking of Imran Khan Saab, whether it be the appointment of Mahmood Khan Saab, whether it be other decisions that have been taken that a lot of people agree with, others find controversial. But what is your point of view as a person, as a party? Do you feel, as an analyst, that this is more or less a one-party show? Or are there more than Mr. Imran Khan to PTI?
I think Imran Khan as a person basically is a dominate on the political landscape of Pakistan. It's not that he's going to become the Prime Minister. When he was in the opposition, he was a dominating figure for a variety of reasons. And still his shadow looms large on his party. I mean, with Imran Khan, the PTI is there. With God forbid, without him, it's not there. Because the charisma of his personality is so dominating factor.
Because when he was in the opposition, Javed Sahib, if you recall, at many a times he had criticized the Sharif brothers for being also the faces of their party, and that it was also steered by only a couple of people. Wouldn't it be the same case when it comes to the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or do you feel it is going to be more, how should distribute it? Is the power going to be more distributed?
I think the distinctive part of PTI is that it is not dynastic.
All right.
You look at the People's Party. It's a Bilawal Bhutto, it's a Zardari, it's a Frial Talpur, all in the family. And I mean, people,
and even in the new generation of Bhuttos.
People like Itizaz Hassan, Raza Rabbani, they have to obey Bilawal Bhutto. He's frankly, politically speaking, he's simply a child.
All right.
And look at the PMLN. everything is within the family, Sharif family. So when you come to the PTI, then the situation is altogether different. Imran Khan's dominance is there, but Imran Khan's family members are not there in the politics. They are not there in the PTI with regard the kind of the situation that exists in PML and People's Party, and also certain are religious groups. But I would say there is we cannot say that the PTI doesn't have experienced team. It's a combination of young lot and few experienced hands. Shafkat Mahmood is a very experienced person. He's been in the bureaucracy. And I expect that he would be in charge of some ministry.
All right.
Shah Mahmood Qureshi probably is going to be foreign minister. Is one of the most experienced hands.
Yeah.
So we can't say that they don't have experience. And then look at Asad Qasim. He held 5 years the portfolio
the
of speaker,
nominee for the National Assembly Speaker.
KPK. So he's there in the National Assembly. But again, it's not a cricket team. You have the entire bureaucracy which is going to feed you with everything. Now, I think the experience is important in terms of handling the smaller political groups in the parliament, the coalition partners, how they are going to how he is going to handle them, how MQM is going to be handled. It's a different MQM, but still it has the
Even in the provincial governments,
it
if
has
they
the
form the
germs of
government.
Altaf Hussain, and handling MQM would be a bit challenging.
That's true.
And then I think BNP in Balochistan, they have a very genuine demands on enforced disappearances. I think that is going to be a huge test, how to get those people freed. And then I think the demands of the PTM to release their people is going to be a big challenge for him. How is going to navigate the different options with the security forces. I think that is going to be the biggest challenge for him.
All right.
On economy, I think I have heard Asad Omar. He is a good choice. The bigger crisis in Pakistan's entire economy is that the people we had in the past, they were thoroughly corrupt. They knew how to smuggle out money from Pakistan. You are getting money outside Pakistan from the donor agencies, and then you are smuggling out using actors like allegedly Asif Ali Zardari did, and then putting legal kind of legal framework in place whereby you can legally money launder. And that has been happening. I think how to stop that happening. Therefore, that at least you need an honest leadership. That is there. And now
That is a huge challenge for the
that
government.
is a huge challenge. You see, we are going back to the IMF and other donor agencies because the dollar from the open markets are being purchased and being smuggled out.
All right.
And now the Swiss bank, you might recall, during in 2014, they have confirmed that there are 200 billion US dollars parked in Swiss banks, and they belong to Pakistanis. Who are they? We know one politician, Asif Zardari, because there was a $60 million case against him. And then there are credible reports suggesting that the money also belonged to the Sharif family. And then there are senior bureaucrats from both civil bureaucracy and the military bureaucracy. This money allegedly belonged to them. Now, the Swiss government, the Swiss banks had offered Pakistan in 2014 that they are ready to repatriate that money. In return of certain concessions, they want their companies in Pakistan. Obviously, it's a tax concessions. Pakistan probably would need to negotiate with them. In what manner the new government is going to do that, that's going to be a challenge. It's 2018, it's not 2014.
All right.
That offer was made.
I'm going to take that to Asma Sahiba. Asma Sahiba, you're now a member of the National Assembly. You're part of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Would you also recommend to other members of your party and also to your leader that he should try to bring the money that is in other countries back to our country to uplift our economy?
Why I should tell them, this is our mission. We're going to do that as we promised to our people of Pakistan, that the day we will be inside the sacred floor of assembly, yes, we're going to get all the money back. Whoever had it, they're going to give it back. And
Would
inshallah,
it be an uphill task, a difficult
we
task?
know it is uphill, but we're going to try. We're not going to leave them at all. We've decided and we'll do it.
All right. Liaquat Saab, foreign helps, because somewhere, somehow, we'll need that in the form of debt, in the form of cooperation, in the form of whatever might come in the days and months to come. There will be always conditions joined to it. You know how the US reacted when it came to the IMF, to China, and how our cooperation with China is concerned, and that money that might be taken in the future from the IMF should not be used to pay back the Chinese debt. Things like that. Would these conditions that are joined to all debts that might be taken in the future pose an issue for the future government?
Well, this is tyranny of the history, and Imran Khan or any other leader in this crisis, you don't have any other way to just resort to these institutions. And not only Pakistan, these institutions are capitalist institutions. They have their domination. They have devised the ways to in-chain the third world countries. So this is very unfortunate. Imran Khan has to resort for time being and PTI government would need a firefighting strategy and then a permanent strategy. Particularly, you were talking about those money in Switzerland. That's not $200 billion in Switzerland and $150 billion in other countries, in UK, in Gulf countries. Totally, it is $450 billion. And the main question and challenge is how to retrieve the money. And particularly in Switzerland, there's an act they enacted in 2010, Restitution of Illicit Assets Act. And using and getting help from that act, Nigeria, an African country, they retrieved $794 million back to their country, $1 billion Peru, and Philippines almost $700 million they retrieved back. A number of countries. If there's a will,
there's always a way.
There's a way. There are ways. There are Anti-Corruption Act of '97 of UN Anti-Corruption Charter, UN Anti-Bribery. So if there is a will, if you don't have will, if the same kind of money are sitting in your parliament, so they always try to block your way. If you have will, retrieve this money back. This is the only source. Otherwise, you do not, because people do not have the capacity to give you tax. Your hardly old workforce is, I think, 150 million people. And the number of your youth is unemployed. If you are paying them, if you are providing them with jobs, the 20,000, 30,000, the main income, average income is 30,000. How would you, put another tax, imposed tax? So this is the main, the core your money is that money, $450 billion.
That needs to come back.
Your money.
All right.
That's the only way.
All right. As far as Imran Khan is concerned, Javed Saab, there has the 100-day plan that he has announced, which is very ambitious. There are other decisions that he announced that are very popular. But there are also difficult decisions that he needs to take when it comes to the different crises that the country is, for the moment, seeing. It is currently seeing and will be seeing in the days to come. Difficult versus popular decisions. How does one manage that? How does one balance that?
I think the critical part of all this is going to be witnessed when his government is going to take a decision on whether or not they are going to resort to go to IMF or they are going to use other mechanism available, other options available. Will they go to the overseas Pakistanis? And obviously they are going to come up with some package to attract them. And then I think there is an offer also from the Jeddah-based Islamic Bank.
That's true.
My understanding is that the PTI would be more inclined to go for options other than IMF.
All right.
Because it has been a very politicized institution.
And it's also an unpopular option, isn't
it's a very, because going to the IMF means that withdrawal of the subsidy, more taxations on the common people, more devaluation.
And of course, the conditions attached with any loan that comes from the IMF.
More price hike. And then, obviously, it has a clear Western agenda. IMF has a history of failures everywhere. So I think they probably the PTI would not go for that option. But that also means that what are the other options and what is going to be the impact of those options. IMF has always been an easy option. Now, I think much also depends how overseas Pakistani are going to accept the offer of the new government. Probably they are going to float some certain bonds with the attractive incentives, and then the combination of a loan from Islamic Bank and then floating bonds in the international market, attracting overseas. That seems to be the only other available option. But again, then there is a bigger question of expanding tax base. Imran Khan has been saying since day one that since he's the one who people have been giving him donations, and because of his credibility, he's going to attract huge number of people, and he's going to expand the tax base, doubling the existing revenue. If that happens, which I hope, if there is going to be an encouraging response, that means there would be less dependence onto the donor agencies and to indigenize the economy. But again, here bigger question is how you are going to control the external contours of economy.
Because when you talk of expanding the tax base here, I'd like to add, I hope they include the business community and the politicians as well in all of that, because that will also be a huge chunk.
They are going to reduce the tax rate and minimize the tax so that everybody can pay it. You see, the biggest crisis has been that people don't pay direct taxes because they know the money is going to end up in corrupt hands.
All right.
There has been a credibility crisis. If there is a credible government, if people know that their money is not going to end up in the wrong hands, then I think there is a possibility the tax base would be expanded. We have not just hardly 1 million taxpayers, and if these are expanded to, for the sake of the argument, 4 million or 5 million, that would be huge, something huge to happen. But again, we are all simply speculating. We don't know what is going to happen.
Exactly.
But let's hope for the best.
Of course, the coming days and months are going to reveal a lot of things as far as the political agenda and, of course, the decisions taken by the coming government is concerned. Asma Sahiba, the PTI in the previous government was a very aggressive opposition. We saw the Dharna in 2014. We saw the other rallies also that they took out. We also saw the presence or not of members of the PTI in the National Assembly sessions when important decisions were being discussed. How is Mr. Imran Khan, if and when he comes into power, and if he becomes the head of the future government, going to take the opposition along with him?
Look, he will be the head
because the opposition says it's going to be very...
He will be the Prime Minister of Pakistan, yes. And he will be the Prime Minister of opposition as well. So once he was in opposition, yes, he was doing opposition. But as the government, he will be the leader of all. So I don't see anything like Sir Imran will do his job, what he has promised to the people of Pakistan. He will be concentrating on solving the issues of Pakistan, the major issues, very troublesome making issues, and he was definitely going to be very friendly.
All right.
He's not going to be acting like the previous opposition used to do. No.
Well, he was part of the previous
government did. Right. No, we will never like do. We're going to. They are our people, right? And they are Pakistanis, and it is better that we should come out of that kind of box that living on hating each other, disrespecting each other. And remember one thing we need to, I would like to suggest to opposition, that they have to realize, this is a time now, they have to realize that the politicians or the leaders are mostly the mirror of their voters.
All right. All right.
So Imran Khan is the mirror of right people's.
All right. Ma'am, which brings me to another question. Now the opposition has some grievances, has some questions, has had a protest recently in Islamabad in which they voiced their grievances very openly. So did Mr. Shehbaz Sharif very recently as well. Do you think, as part of the party that will most probably take the power in these coming days. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf and its chairman will also take into heed the grievances of the opposition parties and look into it or open some commissions that might make an investigation into their grievances. What's your point of view, ma'am?
Look, in his first speech, he said he's going to take care, or he's going to see every grievances of the opposition. And he said he's open to it, and he welcomed. And he said any grievance that they should, he's going to look into it.
All right.
And like, for instance, so many, the constituency were recounted. So, and the rest is that I would like to address here, that the speeches that they were doing, it was their speeches were based on hatred. They were abusing institutions and especially election commission. Like in 2013, I was very much in the constituencies and visiting. There was the way rangers were so alert in this election. They were not in
the previous
2013, right? It was all police and everything.
All right.
But this time I feel like we also face the same problems which the opposition has faced, right? And but saying that, like Maulana Saab said that he's going to not going to celebrate the 14th August, and he's going to celebrate as a struggle August. It was our Independence Day, and he said he's not going to he celebrated Independence Day, rather a struggle day. So I think they have to come out of that confusion and that kind of opposition that throughout for 70 years Pakistan were doing, just for the to have turns. Like tomorrow is Zardari Sahib, you come and you have a turn, and today Nawaz Sharif, you come and you have to. No, this is over now. People have proved in the world, proved the world that they want good people to run their country.
Right.
They need honest people.
Right.
They need dedicated. They don't want hypocrites. They don't want looters. They don't want plunderers. They want honest, decent people to run country in a decent manner, and some decency should prevail.
All
so
right.
I hope
All
the
right.
sense will prevail, and
we will of course see.
Go
Liaquat
towards
Saab,
decency.
Decency is a word that Asma Sahiba used. When the PTI in opposition versus PTI now, most probably in power, the PML and other parties in opposition in the government versus the PTI and all the opposition parties that have now grouped themselves in the opposition. How is all of that going to play out? Because the opposition parties have some very strong grievances, especially when it comes to the elections. Do you feel that the government that will be formed will look into that seriously? Your point of view. I've taken Asma Sahiba's point of view.
Well, soon after election, when Imran Khan gave a speech, that was his only decent speech. If you look at his political career, in his speech and thoughts, he has never been decent in particular terms, but aggressive leader. But if you look at the combination of opposition, I don't see a proper organized opposition. Nobody is willing. Shehbaz Sharif as a leader is failure. Since 30 July, he has collapsed the party. So People's Party is not willing to combat, contest, and show very much seriousness in opposition, because they have improved their position. They have scored 12 extra seats in Sindh, and they are very much comfortable with Sindh government. And himself, Zardari, is very much convinced that this election was not the election of People's Party. They are looking towards 2023. So, but the main challenge again comes for People's Party, as my friends say. The stakes are high, hopes are high, and this is the second surge of any political party in the history of Pakistan after 1970. In 1970, there was a surge of People's Party, and Bhutto broke the previous dynasties, but established a new legacy. Though his legacy again converted into dynasty. Now, this time comes the legacy of Imran Khan, though is not, representing any dynasty, but he has to establish his legacy, and it depends Imran Khan himself how much he would be able to fulfill his promises? How would he deliver on promises? Again, if there is a problem with political People's Party, again, he will go to the people. He will, they would change the slogans of Bhuttos. They would refer the tombs of martyrs. Again, people would mobilize, instigate it, activate it and vote for them. And same time, same goes for PMLN. Again, they have at least a motorway, at least a few metros on their, development box on their previous age. They quote it. But if Imran Khan failed, there would no PTI. Because nobody is going to... So
this is a very crucial time for the Pakistan Insaf these days and months to come.
Yes, if Imran failed, PTI failed and abolished, because they would not be going to refer and quote any previous, tombs or motorways or history or dynasty whatsoever.
Of course. All right, Javed Rana Saab, within all of these challenges that remain for Imran Khan Saab, and of course the opposition saying, Shehbaz Sharif saying, and I quote, we will definitely step into the National Assembly, but not to congratulate the government, but to raise our voice against the rigging and demand an investigation. This and other demands, of course, of the opposition that I hope that the government that is formed will look into it and seriously try to pacify the opposition so that they can move on as such, because there's not a real majority in the parliament as we speak. There's a simple majority.
There's a paradoxical situation for both PMLN and PTI. If you go back to 2013, the defense that PMLN was offering, I think similar defense is being offered by the PTI. And the allegations that were hurled by the PTI against the PMLN, now the PMLN is hurling the same allegations against the government.
The tables have turned.
The tables have turned. But I would say the scale of alleged rigging in 2013 and the scale of alleged rigging in 2018 is a different.
All right.
Then it happened at a far larger scale. A majority was converted into minority. Now I think PTI has got, by and large, the overall mandate of the people. Even if there is rigging, for the sake of the argument, on the selected seats, the overall mandate of the PTI is there. It has not changed the very representation of the PTI in the parliament.
All right.
But again, we have very aggressive components of the opposition parties like JUI. It's very unusual. JUI itself was the beneficiary of this similar pattern of rigging in 2002. And that is what Maulana Fazlur Rahman Saab is forgetting. Right. Probably PMLN, Fazlur Rahman Saab, they have run out of the favor that they used to have from the state institutions. So it's a pure power politics. Here the question of morality is not going to dominate.
Right.
That is going to be used as a tactical weapon against each other.
All right, but power politics, nevertheless.
Even these all political parties had their own rigging machineries, which this time I think they were not allowed to MKM in Karachi, even in Punjab, PMLN, they had a huge, rigging machinery in internal Sindh People's Party. So political parties, even these electables,
and this is last point I want to say. The People's Party itself is beneficiary of the alleged rigging, because there were from GDA has complained that there were
they all have their machinery,
on 25 constituencies in Sindh province. The election commission favored People's Party. So the opposition from the within is compromised and fragmented, and I don't expect that the opposition would be able to come up with a strong protest campaign. Opposition, unlike Imran Khan, is not very consistent.
All right. That we will only see with time. Yes, ma'am. One last word, because we're short of time.
Okay. I just confused, I always confuse on the rigging. First thing I always think, the point which I want to raise is that the opposition right now, when they were in assembly, they said they're going to give electoral reforms and where there will be no rigging, and they're going to give us a system where there will be no rigging and they will be fair and free. So where the system, they were the one who's supposed to give us the system. Number one. Number two, I want to ask them that the people, those who voted them or voted us, were they from sky? or the people those actually or those who were sitting and taking whatever the voters, guiding voters, were they from sky? No,
right.
they were from among us.
All right, they were from among us. It is, of course, going to be a new chapter in our political history in the coming days. On the 13th of August at 10 a.m., the National Assembly session is going to be, has been announced. Asad Kaisar as any speaker from the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, Parvez Elahi, Punjab speaker from PML-Q as well, Chaudhry Sarwar, Governor Punjab. These are all recommendations from the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Let's see what the other parties also feel as candidates. It's definitely going to be an eye-opener in the coming days and months, and there are a lot of expectations from the government that is going to take power. All the best to them, Omar, Khalid, but wish you farewell from this episode of Perspectives. We'll be back inshallah next week. Take care of yourselves, and to my esteemed guests, thank you so very much. Allah Hafiz.